Hello everyone and welcome back to the Synergy Sanctum. My name is Justin. Thank you so much for stopping by. Here at the Synergy Sanctum, we specialize in all things related to Magic the Gathering, with a specific focus on deck building. So I aim to show you very quick deck techs that'll show you all of the cards in the deck and how they work together to ultimately achieve the goals of that deck. If you're not already, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate that. And we also have a sister channel now, so head on over to Commander Coliseum and check out their content as well. And for today's deck tech, we have another Ninja Turtle spoiler for you today with Donnie and April, Adorkable Duo, a mono blue deck. Donnie and April are kind of steep on the mana cost at 5 mana, but when they enter, you get to choose one or both, and each mode must target a different player. You get to either draw 2 cards, or you get to recur an artifact, instant, or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. So very powerful enter the battlefield effect here, and we are going with a blink strategy for this EDH deck today. Pretty affordable as well, so for a mono blue deck that's going to be pretty competitive, you're looking at a TCG market value currently of $127 to $148, and our land count is 35, with 30 of those being islands and 5 of those being non-basics. So getting into it today, we are going to blink a ton of cards, including Donnie and April if we get to that 5 mana, which we will eventually, but we're going to be using all of these other enter the battlefield effects to get us there. So starting with our blink suite of cards here, we have a ton of cards in mono blue that invite this strategy of blinking enter the battlefield effects. So starting with Thassa Deep Dwelling, she's letting you blink something at your end step. Splash Portal is the only one that's at sorcery speed, but you can exile something, and if it's a Berg, Frog, Otter, or Rat, you get to draw a card. Teferi's Time Twist is letting you blink and giving that creature a counter when it comes back. Siren's Ruse is letting you blink, and if it's a pirate, you get to draw. Planar Incision is letting you blink and giving it a counter. Illusionist Stratum is letting you blink as well, and it's letting you blink 2 creatures you control and then bring them back, and it lets you draw. Pretty powerful there. Ghostly Flickers, popular one, and lets you blink 2 things and bring them back. And then Displacer Kitten has tons of value in a blink deck, because anytime you're casting a non-creature spell, you're getting to blink something as well. So if you're blinking something, you're going to resolve the cast trigger first with a Displacer Kitten, and then you'd be able to resolve the spell like Ghostly Flicker and get double blink for that turn. Essence Flux is a single blue to blink something, and if it's a spirit, it gets a counter. Displace is letting you blink 2 things. Conjurer's Closet is at end step, it's letting you blink something and bring it back, and then Blur is letting you blink something and letting you draw as well. So those are our cards that are going to be blinking creatures and artifacts and lands, and now we're going to get into the other creatures that have really strong enter the battlefield effects. So starting with Venser Shaper Savant, when he enters, he gets to bounce a spell or a permanent to its owner's hand. Very powerful there. Scampering Surveyor is getting you a basic land when it blinks. Tomb Raider, when it enters, is letting you draw. Scourge of the Fleets is letting you return each creature your opponents control with toughness X or less to their owner's hand, where X is the number of islands you control. So very consistent kind of repeatable blink strategy there to keep the board clear. Spellseeker is letting you go and find an instant or sorcery spell that's 2 or less. Archaeomancer is a big engine in a blink deck because he lets you keep bringing these blink cards back from your graveyard to your hand. When he enters, you get to return one, an instant or sorcery to your hand. Solemn's getting you a basic island, and it's also letting you draw when it dies. Ether Channeler has multiple things on it. It lets you draw, it lets you create tokens, or you can bounce something. And then Cloud of Fairies and Peregrine Drake are here that can kind of help you get to infinite mana. So there's a combo with that and Ghostly Flicker that kind of allows you to get infinite mana, and then you can kind of keep this engine going. And then Panharmonicon and Starfield Vocalist from the New Edge of Eternity set, anytime enter the battlefield trigger ability happens, they're letting it trigger an additional time. So super powerful here and a ton of value to get way more enter the battlefield triggers off of this. And then here's our Spellslinger strategy. So we are going to be playing a lot of spells and blink spells here. So we want kind of payoffs with the Spellslinger strategy as well. So we're running cards that discount the instant and sorcery spells like Thunderclap Drake and Mocking Sprite. We've got Haughty Djinn, whose power and toughness, whose power is equal to the number of instant and sorceries in your graveyard, and he lets them cost one less. Burrell, Chief of Compliance, is letting them cost one less, and then he's letting you draw if you counter a spell. Jace's Sanctum's letting you scry anytime you cast one, and he's giving him a discount. Archmage of Ruins is letting you draw and giving it a discount. Archmage of Meritus is letting you draw as well anytime you cast one, and then we're running a Shark Typhoon, so any non-creature spell that you cast turns into a shark whose power and toughness are equal to that spell's mana value. And then we're running Dika, Fractal Theorist. She has Magecraft, and anytime you're casting or copying a spell, you're going to get to put a fractal creature in and put X counters on it, where X is the spell's mana value. And then we're also running a Talrin Sky Summoner. Anytime you're casting one, he's making you a 2/2 Flying Drake, super powerful. And then even more spell slinging in the deck, we're running Octavia Living Thesis. She turns things into 8/8s until the end of turn. Niblis of Frost has Prowess, and then anytime you're casting one, you get to tap a creature an opponent controls and it doesn't untap. Murmuring Mystics making you birds, and then Hermes, Overseer of Elpis, is also making you birds, and then when you attack with one or more birds, you get to scry 2. And then other good stuff in the deck, we are running a Propaganda to protect us from the crackback. We are running an Omniscience to be able to do all of this for free. Nevermaker is a super powerful blue card from Morningtide, and he kind of has the effect of reverse blink. So rather than triggering when he enters the battlefield, he triggers when he leaves the battlefield, and he has a really strong ability of taking a permanent and putting it on top of its owner's library. So you get to basically like eliminate their draws and just put stuff on top of their library that they've already played. Pretty messed up. And then a Lab Maniac, because with the infinite mana and the Omniscience, we do have the potential to deck out here, so we don't want to lose, and we'll play that Lab Maniac right when we need to in order to make sure that we don't lose when we draw out. And then a little bit additional draw on the deck, not too much, because we do have a lot of Enter the Battlefield ones that are already doing this for us, but a Wavebreak Hippocamp. Whenever you're casting your first spell during an opponent's turn, you're getting to draw, so as long as you're doing this at instant speed, you're drawing. Blue Sun Zenith is a great mana sink to either deck someone out or for you to draw a bunch of cards. War Room's letting you do it at the cost of a life and 3 mana. Doorport Mage, anytime you're blinking something and those creatures are leaving, he's letting you draw, super powerful. And then we're running a Brainstorm and a Brain Surge to kind of control what ends up on top and draw a bunch of cards for cheap mana. And then a decent amount of removal in the deck, a decent amount of counter spells as well. So we're running an Unwind, which counters a non-creature spell, and then it untaps 3 lands, a Rapid Hybridization to deal with a problem creature, some counter spells with Swan Song and counterspell itself. Snap is bouncing something and giving you 2 lands back. Pongify is dealing with a problem creature. Runaway Together is kind of pseudo blink, because you can bounce one of your own and then bounce another one that an opponent has. Negate and Rewind are counter spells as well, and then Capsize, if we do end up getting to that infinite mana, you can bounce all permanents back to their owner's hands except your own. So super broken here. And then finally, a little more removal in the deck, a couple more counter spells with Arcane Denial and an Offer You Can't Refuse. And then we are running an Aetherize, which is kind of like a cheap board wipe in blue. If they're going to attack us, we're going to bounce all that stuff back to their hand. And then finally, our mana in the deck, we are running a Terrain Generator to give us additional basics every turn. We're running Soul Ring as our rock, as well as an Arcane Signet. And then we're running a Sapphire Medallion to make all these blue spells cost 1 less. And then a High Tide to double up our islands for the turn.
And with that, our show has come to an end. Thank you so much for watching our video. And if you enjoyed that video, feel free to share it out with any friends who might find value in it as well. Thank you so much for stopping by. We hope to see you again soon. Have a good one.